Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this quick webinar on FP&A reports using AI. We don't say AI is coming anymore. AI is already here, right? And it is impacting every single part of our workflow, whether it is in the finance function or marketing or any other business function. AI is impacting a lot in every single step of the way that we operate, right? What are we going to cover today? Over the next 45 minutes or so, we want your complete undivided attention. So we'll first understand how AI is impacting FP&A. With AI, how the FP&A workflow is changing and in comparison to the traditional workflow. We'll look at 2 to 3 good use cases on using AI in building and generating management reports. And then we'll also move to understand what are those 5 core critical skill sets that CFOs today are looking for in their finance team. And then, of course, we'll spend some time on the Q&A in the end as well. Now, there is an incentive for all of you to stay till the very end. So we will also be sharing a special bonus, which is a pack of 30 plus use cases of using Claude with Excel in FP&A. Okay, so there are 30 different use cases, the recordings, the materials, the practice Excel sets, all of those things will be shared with you at the end. So make sure that you stay back and take benefit of this special bonus. With that, let's get started. My name is Dhawal Parvatikar. I'm a qualified chartered accountant. I've also completed my 1-year general management program from IIM Ahmedabad. Over the last 16 years, I've served as a CFO and a finance leader across various Indian and multinational corporations in India and in the Middle East. Over the last 6 years, I've been an active online instructor. I've trained thousands of professionals on various topics like FP&A, finance business partnering, data storytelling, one-on-one CFO career coaching, and much more. I'm frequently seen in events across the Middle East, somewhere as a moderator, as a panelist, as a host. I've personally built a community of more than 200 CFOs across the Middle East who meet every quarter, exchange ideas, understand what's going on in the CFO's world, and exchange ideas to bring them into their coaching and curriculum. I'm joined by my co-founder, Asif Masani. Asif, a quick introduction from your end.
Thank you so much, Dhawal, for having me. And quickly about me. So I've been working in finance, more specifically in FP&A for more than 10 years now. And started as an FP&A analyst back in 2013. And my most recent role was the FP&A lead for APAC for one of the largest tech companies in the world. So that is when in 2023 we decided to start FP&A Professionals Institute. And over the last 3 years, we've had incredible opportunities to not just share our experience, which is me and Dhawal, but also bring the experience of top FP&A professionals across the globe, right from North America to Middle East to Asia and Europe. So that's what we do at FP&A Professionals Institute. We try to bring in FP&A professionals expertise and experience through our courses, certifications, books, videos, podcasts, whatever we do at FP&A Professionals Institute. Over the last 3 years and more, we have trained about 5,000 plus students across all of these courses and certifications that you see here on the slide. So that's a little bit about me and the FP&A Professionals Institute, and we'll get back to the webinar with Dhawal. Thanks.
Thank you, Asif. So let us start by understanding how is AI impacting FP&A specifically, right? So if you look at the traditional FP&A workflow, you will be dealing with large chunks of data, and often this data is manually extracted from various sources. It could be your ERP or CRM or HRMS tool, your supply chain tool. Different tools are used in companies, and you normally resort to manual extraction of data, that endless loop of VLOOKUPs, building some Excel macros, which hoping that with a click of a button it works every time. Right? All of those things are the old way of executing your FP&A role. Most of your time is spent in cleaning up the data. Most of your time is spent in not in analyzing the data, right, or coming up with insights out of it. And if somebody asks you, or if a business team asks you to change something small, you have to do that entire process again. You have to do those endless loop of VLOOKUPs again. That has been the traditional FP&A process since probably last decade or so now. Now, what is changing with AI? AI is bringing unified intelligence, and also it is eliminating some of the manual steps that are involved typically in computing FP&A reports. Okay. What you typically now can do is you can accumulate all these inputs from various data sources into a unified data lake. I've written a lot of articles about data lake as well, so do go through them when you get a chance. A unified data lake is that central repository where you can bring in data from all the different sources in a summarized format, and that acts as your single source of truth. On this unified data lake, you can put machine learning models, FP&A tools, you can put AI models that will help you not only get better outputs and reports, it will help you with predictive analytics, it will help you with real time dashboards, it will help you prepare insights much faster and in a much more efficient way. That is what is changing in FP&A. Okay? And that is what, of course, this is not as simple as buying a tool and then getting started with it. It requires a lot of understanding about data engineering. It requires the understanding about the processes. The processes need to be clear first, and then the tool is a supplement. The tool is an aid for that. If you have weak processes and weak data, no AI engine can help you, right? So it all starts with getting that process right, unifying it in a data lake, and then put the AI integration on top of it. That is where we are moving towards AI-enabled FP&A. Now, when we talk about AI, there's a difference between automation and AI-enabled automation, right? So AI is almost autonomous intelligence. AI is known to do things on its own or understand natural language instructions and execute things. Whereas automation existed even before the AI wave. To understand that, let's decode what are the different levels of AI and how they can help us in our FP&A roles. The first level is robotic process automation. So anything that is rule-based and repetitive, you can automate that with robotic process automation. RPA existed even before the AI wave. There are many companies like Automation Anywhere, UiPath. They're helping up with robotic process automation. Now you get all these RPA bots you can integrate with your SAP, your Oracles, and all other ERP systems, which can execute a lot of routine, repetitive, rule-based tasks for you. The next level is machine learning. Machine learning is where the system understands your past data and then tries to predict the future. For example, I was speaking to one of the CFOs of an insurance company a couple of years ago. She said that most of it is now done by machine learning, right? So a lot of claims that we used to process manually, now the system is able to predict what could be the potential claims that could come, depending on the health records of the premium payers, depending on the doctor visits of the premium payers. Machine learning model is able to predict to some extent that what would be probably the claims or what would be the amount or tentative amount of claim that could come from an average user. Yeah, those are your machine learning models where it can detect your past data, apply certain logic, and then try and predict a future outcome. The next level is generative AI. So generative AI is all about creation. It understands natural language context. You can talk to it like an assistant. You can talk to it like an intern, and it will create things for you, whether it is generating commentary, generating strategy. This is where your classic ChatGPT comes into play. You're able to interact with ChatGPT like a person, and it is able to give you strategies, solutions, right? Excel formula, any other things that you normally ask it. And the level above generative AI is agentic AI. Agentic AI is where the AI engine is able to autonomously decide on certain things, right? Picture this. I was attending one of the conferences, a real estate conference, and there they were producing a real estate AI agent. They demonstrated a real estate AI agent. This AI agent did a phone call to a potential customer, asked for his preferences, whether he's looking for a one-bedroom apartment or a two-bedroom apartment or whatever. And then it went to an extent of asking him for his preference, and it actually booked an apartment viewing, all autonomously on its own. Now, if AI agents can have customer conversations, book apartment viewings, then definitely they can pass a debit credit entry for sure, right? So that is where agentic AI is coming in and autonomously executing certain tasks where you don't need human intervention anymore, right? That is agentic AI. So there are these different levels of AI. Okay. Some of them, like RPA and machine learning, existed even before the AI wave came in. Yeah, but now with AI wave, these are all getting accelerated and much more easier for adoption in companies as well. Okay. So after understanding the basics of AI, how AI is going to impact your FP&A role, the data lake and AI integration on top of the data lake, let us try and understand some of the use cases in the AI world. Okay, we'll demonstrate 2 to 3 good use cases using different tools that will give you a glimpse of how the future of FP&A is going to look like. Asif, you want to start with the first one?
Yeah. So with that, let me quickly share my screen as well. Okay. Okay. So let me know, Dhawal, when you see the screen.
We can see it, Asif.
Okay. Thanks. So let me give you a quick context about the task that I'm trying to achieve here. So this is a very common situation where we come across in FP&A or in any other finance role to that extent, where you have multiple Excel sheets, maybe 20 different Excel sheets, and you need to create a summary version or a executive summary where you present the numbers from five different departments or five different business units, or in this situation, it's a hotel group with five different properties in different cities in UAE, in the Middle East. And what we want to do is we want to consolidate the results for each of the five business units in five columns, and then also have a consolidation total. Okay, and this is what we want to present to the management. And we've collected all the data from the different hotels, and now we want to create a report and we want to present that to the management. Typically, what this would take is a lot of either the Excel formula, so you will need to use XLOOKUP, VLOOKUP, or you will need to link them manually one by one, cell by cell. Okay, so those are the options that you have when you want to manually do this using Excel. And both of them would take significant amount of time, I would say, to complete this sheet using. Right now there are only five business units. Imagine if there were 20 or 25, it would have taken significant amount of time to manually do that using Excel formulas, maybe a couple of hours or maybe even more. Okay, now with AI you can, or with AI inside Excel, you can automate this and do this within a matter of couple of minutes and save a good 2 to 3 hours of your time. Okay, so very simply, what I will do is I'll give the AI a prompt. So this is the Claude Excel add-in within Excel. So you can easily get this if you have a paid Claude account or a pro Claude account. And once you have a paid Claude account, you can go inside Excel and search for the Claude add-in, and within a matter of a minute you can get this add-in, and it'll ask you for a couple of things, login ID or the license code, which you can easily get it from the Claude uh, license that you've purchased. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to consolidate all of these different business units into one sheet, and that is the objective. So with that, what I'll do is I'll quickly tell this, like used to tell my um, assistant or one of the interns in my team. Okay, I would tell the Claude Excel add-in. Let me just make this slightly big so that it is visible. Okay, so I'm going to tell Claude that. Uh, okay, so I want to link all of the numbers from the different sheets into one sheet here. Let's say link BU1 to BU5, which are the five business units on the consolidated MIS sheet. Okay, so that is what I would have told the intern as well, or somebody in my team as well. Okay, and I'll just see if this works, and I'll press enter. Okay, let me make this slightly smaller now so that you can see what is happening on the left hand side. So it says that I need to understand the structure of the consolidated MIS sheet and the business unit wise sheet to link them properly. Okay, so it's trying to understand what are the existing files and the structure. Okay, it was able to identify a clear mapping. Okay, so it says I have a clear picture now. Let me create the cross sheet links, and here is the mapping between the consolidation. Okay, so it's creating the links. Okay, and you can see the steps here at the bottom, right? And you can see the first step is cross-linking the formulas. Okay, the second step is verifying all the formula results. And then third, creating a audit trail or a Claude log, which you can see if you want to quickly see what the Claude has done. Okay, so if you notice, all these business unit wise columns have been linked with the numbers with the P&L. And typically, right now it's five business units. Imagine if there were 20, I would have taken maybe an hour or so or a couple of hours to link them manually. Now you can do that in a matter of a few minutes if you just use AI tool intelligently. Okay, now it says I have done right. I have linked all the five business unit sheets. Here is what happened. Okay, so 90 cross sheet formulas across columns, Okay, linking 18 line items per business unit. It's giving you some statistics also. Okay. So it's also giving you some checks here. So all total are flowing through perfectly. Let me verify the values match. It is built in some checks as well. And so this is the consolidation use case, which is very common when you're consolidating numbers from different business units, different departments, while you're preparing a budget or while you're updating the forecast. This is something which can save a lot of time. Okay, let me take a look at the comments. If there are any comments before I go to the next one. Okay, I'm sure you can imagine some other use cases as well, which are very similar. So this one was a specific consolidation use case. However, I'm sure you can also do many other tasks which might be very similar to this, which you may know already at your role. Okay, so let me go and move on to the second use case for today. So this was a consolidation use case where I was consolidating the different budget numbers. Okay, now what I will do is I'll create some charts using AI. So let me see and open another file which I have ready with me. Okay, so before I get into this, I will quickly also share what context I have here. Okay, so I have a certain set of assumptions. Okay, so certain set of assumptions. Let me quickly read out what they are. Okay, I have my revenue growth year on year percentage. Okay, and gross margin percentage, sales and marketing as a percentage of revenue. Okay, so these are typical assumptions. You can look at the historicals and analyzing the historicals. You can say, okay, typically we grow about 17 to 30%. So let me assume 17% is the base case, 30% is the best case, and in the worst case, we can assume say 5%. So you create three different scenarios for different assumptions that you have. Okay, and based on that, you share your past year historical data. So I have my 2023 historical data in this case, 2024 historical data. So you're sharing last 2, 3 years of historical data, and also the 2024 budget numbers. Okay. So this is your last year budget number. Okay. So this is your previous year budget number. So you're sharing three data points now in terms of the base budget. Okay. So this is not the last year, but this is probably the current year budget. So you've created the budget for the base version, and what you want is you want to create some charts which can dynamically update in the dashboard when you change the scenario from base case to best case to worst case. Okay, so this is again a very common scenario planning situation that you might face in your FP&A role. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll quickly give AI a prompt. Okay, uh, one moment. Yeah. So let me give AI a prompt and let's see if this can work. Okay. I'll just say in very plain, simple language, or I'll say create a dynamic chart that updates with changing scenarios using a drop down. Okay. Also, I want to specific what exactly I want to see in the chart. So let me just pick one of the line items and you could replicate the same for the other line items as well. So I'll right now ask to create a revenue chart, but you could do the same for all the other line items or any other line items as well. Okay, that updates revenue numbers for different. Okay, so I already mentioned the scenario bit. Okay, so let me just press enter here and let's see if it is able to do this. Okay, again, it will start understanding the data first, what is there in your data set. And here it is a slightly complicated workflow. So it has to first update the base case, worst case scenarios, and then it has to update the chart. So it is going step by step. So it says for step number one, fill the best case and the worst case scenarios based on the assumptions. So it now updated the best case and the worst case scenarios. If you can notice that in column E and F. Okay. Now what is doing it is doing in the second step is building the scenario drop down. Okay, using data validation features in Excel. So if you can notice on the right hand side, it started building that. And if you see the yellow cell, that is a base case, and it is in the process of building that drop down. Okay, so right now it has completed that, and now it is building a dynamic revenue chart, which is step number three. Okay, let's see if it is able to do that. So if you notice, it has built a revenue chart for previous year, the current year actual, and the current year budget. Now let me just check. So it's now creating the log sheet. It's completed the task. Let me see if it is this is a static chart or a dynamic chart. If you notice here, you can see the drop down. And when I change the base case to the best case, the chart automatically will get updated. Okay, so this is one of the use case. So you can again, if you can create a dynamic chart, you can definitely create different static charts. You create the waterfall chart. You can create different charts that you use in FP&A, including your pie charts, your line charts, your bar charts. All of this you can also create. But this was something which included a combination of creating scenarios, different scenarios, and also creating a dynamic chart. You can update that with a click of a button. Okay, so you can now replicate this for the other line items, important ones, for example, for gross profit, for EBITDA, and then create a dashboard out of it as well. So this is another use case that I wanted to share on the management reporting. I believe Dhawal is also having a couple of use cases. We will take a look at those as well. I'll also check the chat box if there are any comments or any questions on these in the meanwhile.
Asif, I don't see any comments. So,
Yeah, we can go to the next use case in that case.
okay. So you have covered the second one or?
Yeah, I've covered the second one. Covered
Okay,
two use.
awesome. Awesome, awesome. So I'm sharing my screen now. Just give me a second. Yeah. So for the next use case, I'm going to cover a tool called Manus AI. So Manus is probably your closest experience to agentic AI. Um, Pretty much like Claude, Manus can also do a lot of things autonomously on its own. I've tested Manus with multiple use cases. I'm just going to show you one use case here. Okay, so let's give me 1 second. Let me just show you the Excel sheet. Okay, so here's a quick Excel sheet. I'm going to first explain to you the Excel sheet, and then we'll give certain commands to Manus AI to see how it is able to execute this task. Okay, so this is a quick revenue variance analysis. Okay, here we have the revenue forecast versus actuals data for the month of June. And here we have two channels. One is the stores and the other one is the online channel. Here is the forecasted revenue. We had forecasted 9.5 million for stores revenue. The actual revenue is 9.2. Similarly, for the online stores, we had forecasted 5.7 million. As opposed to that, it's only 4.4 million. So there's a shortfall of $1.6 million in total revenue. Now, this shortfall, the drivers of this shortfall could be multiple. There could be two or three different kind of reasons. One is the units. We had actually anticipated 380K of forecasted units, and instead we sold only 370. Similarly, for online, we had forecasted 260. We only sold 230. The average selling price is also lower than what we had anticipated for both stores and online. The mix has also changed. Whatever we had budgeted for, the mix has also changed. So there could be three major variances. Okay, one is your pricing variance, then is your quantity variance or a volume variance, and then the other one is the mix variance. So there are three broad variances which should result, which is actually resulting in this $1.6 million shortfall. Okay. Now, to even analyze a simple Excel sheet like this, right? So we did some computations now to put some waterfall chart, build a commentary, right? Even to just simply decode what this simple Excel sheet with a couple of line items is telling us and translate that into a meaningful insight for management. It could take anywhere between half an hour to 45 minutes for us. Yeah. Now, what we will do is we will quickly give this command to Manus AI. So I'm going to pick the use case and tell you what Manus AI was able to do with this file. Yeah. Okay. So here is the file that I shared, the exact file that I mentioned to you. I shared it here, and I asked Manus AI to study the Excel sheet. And from the Excel sheet, can you build a waterfall chart to explain the revenue variance? Use price, volume, and channel mix for your analysis. Also, give me a 3 to 4 bullet pointer sharp summary to along with the waterfall chart. Okay. Now, then Manus said, okay, got it. I'll analyze the Excel sheet. I'll understand. I'll create a waterfall chart, blah, blah, blah. So it started analyzing on its own. All of these are the steps that it is trying to analyze and compute. And then it gave us a strong executive summary where it says revenue is short by $1.6 million. We already saw that in the Excel sheet. Volume decline is the primary driver. 57% of the variance is coming from volume decline. Okay. And then significant price erosion in online channel. The online pricing, if you see, has significantly come down. So stores is okay. Stores was $25 that we had anticipated the average selling price. It is turns out to be 24.9. But the online pricing has significantly come down from 21.9 to 19.1. That is what it is trying to highlight here and computing the impact of that as well. Channel mix shift towards stores channel, right? So we had anticipated higher online revenue, but instead stores started selling more. Yeah. So then it gave that variance breakdown along with waterfall chart as well, along with that summary. Then I asked Manus AI to give me one slide executive presentation for this, as if I'm presenting to a CFO. And then it understood the assignment, it started processing, and finally it was able to give that one page executive insight. Okay. Now look at the insight that is coming up. Here it says revenue variance analysis, $1.6 million shortfall driven by volume decline and pricing pressure. It is also decomposing or rather deconstructing that 1.6 million. It says volume effect is 0.9 million. Okay. Price effect is 0.68 million. And then there is channel mix shift. Again, all of this, I have not given any specific instructions, right? It is creating the slides on its own, is giving this critical insight. It says online channel accounts for 81% of the total revenue shortfall. So the $1.6 million revenue shortfall, 81% of that shortfall is actually attributable to the online channel. So that is the concern. And then it is giving me the revenue waterfall, right? So what was my forecasted revenue? What is my actual revenue? And what are the reasons for the drop? It's a volume effect, the price effect, and the channel mix effect. It's also giving that information in a tabular way as well. Okay. Now imagine even to visualize this chart or visualize this slide and put together a slide like this, to create a waterfall chart, to give all these labels, to put this commentary in place, at least I would have taken half an hour to 45 minutes easily. Now this happened in a few seconds. It happened in a couple of minutes, right? That's what AI is going to do, right? It is not only going to understand the context. The best part about AI is it's going to understand the context and then give you the insights as well, right? Pretty much like getting, if you're an FP&A lead, this is like getting things done from an FP&A analyst or an expert FP&A analyst who's reporting to you, right? It's that good and it's that fast. Yeah. So this is one of the use cases that I wanted to quickly share with Manus AI. So let me come back to the slides. Yeah. So we covered a couple of use cases on management reporting. Then we looked at the agentic AI case, which is the Manus AI, right? Now, I hope you are able to understand that how all these high-paying AI skills or learning to use AI to be far more efficient in your FP&A function is going to help you grab those better opportunities in an AI-driven FP&A world, right? Now, we have done extensive surveys with CFOs, and CFOs today are looking for 5 critical skill sets in their finance team. Now, which are those 5 critical skill sets? First is core FP&A concepts: your budgeting, forecasting, management reporting, variance analysis. All of these things are your core FP&A concepts, which are absolutely non-negotiable. Then comes your financial modeling. Financial modeling specifically to FP&A, not related to valuations or leverage buyouts. It is largely to do with FP&A stuff like revenue models, scenario planning, sensitivity analysis. All of those things come under the financial modeling bit. Data storytelling. Yes, you can analyze 10,000 lines of Excel sheet as a finance professional, but as your business team understand that, that is where translating your data analysis into a simple, understandable story that the business teams can use and take decisions. That is what is impactful data storytelling. Then comes business partnering. It's your business acumen. It's your ability to go beyond your Excel sheets. It's your ability to build strong cross-functional relationships within the company, helping them take certain decisions. In my career, I've collaborated with so many different cross-functional team members, whether it is operations, plant finance, HR teams, or business development, right? That's where you collaborate and then truly help them take certain decisions. And last but not the least, leveraging all the technology and AI development that is happening in the finance world to be far more efficient and effective. So these are the 5 critical skill sets that CFOs today are looking for in the finance function. Now, what we have done over the last 3 years at FPI is we have built a solid certification program. It's called Certified Global FP&A Program, right? It's a global FP&A certification built and delivered directly by CFOs and FP&A practitioners. It has 10 comprehensive modules, which we'll talk about it in a while. Everything through practical examples, real life like looking case studies, use cases, right? Class simulations and discussions, group exercises, all of this 100% practical to give you that experiential learning, right? Then comes, you'll also be part of a global alumni network. CGFPA program have been taken by students from more than 25 countries so far. You will get sessions with a personalized career coach to tailor any career queries that you might have. Placement support in terms of your resume review, your LinkedIn review, your interview preparation. We also have our own portal now. It's called fpnajobs.com, where we're trying to bring recruiters and FP&A talent on one platform. Then access to monthly Q&A sessions directly with the faculty to clarify any doubts or anything that might be going on in your career. External speaker sessions, globally top FP&A experts, digital transformation experts, tool providers, implementation partners, all of them come to FPI to deliver guest sessions every month. And you'll get access to all of that by sitting at the comfort of your home through a best in class LMS portal where we save all our resources, the recordings, and everything, all the resources are hosted. The live sessions happen on Zoom at the comfort of your home, right? So all the live sessions that we do online are happening on Zoom. What is covered in the CGFPA program? Don't just think about this as a course. It has 10 comprehensive modules, everything designed for giving you near experiential learning, right? So that you can directly learn it and go ahead and implement it in your FP&A roles. I'll let Asif cover the first 5 modules that you see on the left. Then I'll talk about the modules on the right.
Thanks, Dhawan. Let me start with the curriculum. What does it cover? So I'll go module by module from the top left-hand side. So talking about introduction to FP&A module, we cover the FP&A function overview, where we teach you how does the FP&A department or the team looks like in different situations. How does it look like for a small mid-sized company, or how does it look like in a multinational billion-dollar company? How does the calendar for the FP&A team look like? What do they do in terms of their day-to-day activities? Different simulations making you understand what is required for FP&A roles, or what are the skills required in the FP&A role. That's a little bit about the introduction module. Very useful, especially if you've never worked in FP&A, to get an idea of how does a FP&A role would look like. Then we have the core modules, which is budgeting, forecasting, the first one, and we cover different budgeting and forecasting methods and techniques. So in budgeting, we cover tops down, bottoms up, zero-based, incremental, some forecasting related techniques like statistical method of doing forecasting, regression analysis, time series forecasting, driver-based forecasting, rolling forecasts. So all of those are covered in the forecasting section. Also, we cover the end-to-end annual operating planning cycle, showing you how does the company build entire budget right from scratch, right from creating or setting guidelines for the budget to creating a budget timeline to making sure that the templates are distributed with the different departments, collecting those inputs, consolidating them, review of those templates, and then finally doing a CFO presentation. So that entire cycle is covered using more than 10 plus examples and case studies in that particular module. Then you have AI for finance and FP&A, very similar to what you saw today. Different use cases. I believe we have more than now 50 plus use cases across different tools, including OpenAI, ChatGPT, Anthropic's Claude, um, Manus that you saw today, and Microsoft Copilot. So these are the some popular tools that we are using to implement different AI, different use cases that earlier we used to take maybe a couple of hours, and then now you could use AI and automate it and improve your productivity. And we keep updating that module every quarter. So last update happened in February. The next one is due in May. So we make sure that you get the latest, what are the latest things that are happening in the AI for finance and FP&A in that. Next is the management reporting module, where we cover different types of FP&A reports which are commonly used, including your month-end report, your flash report. How does different reporting to the departments look like? The headcount or salary report, the marketing report, the sales report. So different types of reports are covered in that particular module. Not just the reports, but also the entire framework of uh, key performance indicators, or a balanced scorecard, or objective and key results are explained in that particular module, along with variance analysis, which is important part, which we share different frameworks. How do you build a structured commentary or a structured variance analysis comment, and also recharges and allocations. So those are some of the highlights of the management reporting module. And you have the financial modeling for FP&A module, where we cover financial modeling very specifically to FP&A use cases. I think we already spoke about this in one of the previous slides. So we cover use cases like building revenue models, building long-range projections, including your capital budgeting techniques like NPV, IRR. We include cash flow forecasting. We do three-statement financial model, scenario planning, sensitivity analysis are some of the topics which are commonly used in FP&A. day-to-day basis, and that is what we teach using the financial modeling best practices and principles. So those are the first five modules of the CGFP curriculum. I'll take a pause and let Dhawal cover the other five that you see on the right-hand side of the screen.
Thank you, Asif. And I'll talk about the modules on the right. So one thing that is common in your FP&A role is that you will be dealing with large sets of data, right? So that is where you need to have a grip on data analytics. In order to do that, we are covering the basic tools like Power BI, Power Query, SQL. From the current cohort, we are also introducing Python and Tableau. We don't claim to make you an expert in these tools, but at least we take you to a level where you are comfortable to start using them on a day-to-day basis in your FP&A roles. That's what data analytics module is about. Then financial analysis. Now again, when we talk about financial analysis, the first thing that comes to your mind is ratio analysis, right? But financial analysis is far beyond just ratio analysis. As a CFO, as an FP&A head, there are a number of different types of analysis that you will be looking at internally from a company's perspective. Now, that could be horizontal, vertical analysis, margin mix. It could be a profitability analysis. It could be variance analysis, recharges, allocations, different kind of analysis that you would be looking at to take certain financial decisions. So that is where financial analysis module comes into play. Then comes storytelling and presentation. Storytelling best practices, presentation best practices. How do you build your report? How do you make your slides more impactful? What chart type to use? What action title to add? How do you build a strong narrative? All of those things are covered in the storytelling and presentations module. Storytelling is not about dashboards. It goes way beyond that. How a business leader is able to interpret your insight and take a decision out of it. That is what is impactful data storytelling. And then strategy is a very interestingly positioned module. As in when you start becoming senior in your company, your seniors will start talking a certain strategic language. At that point in time, you cannot use the strategy terms in a very loose way. That is where we are covering all the popular strategy tools and frameworks, whether it is Pestle 5 Forces or business model canvas or things like BCG metrics, Porter's 5 Forces, McKinsey 7S, all of those different kind of strategy tools we are covering and also explaining to you how FP&A is interlinked to these strategy tools and how FP&A can contribute to these strategic finance decisions in the company. And then comes business partnering through 7 to 8 practical examples that Asif and I have done in our careers. We're showing you how you can truly collaborate with HR, with business development, with plant finance, with CEO, with different teams in the company and add true value to the business, help unlock certain value in the business. So that is what is business partnering module. Okay, all of this through practical examples. We're covering more than 50 plus examples and case studies, 10 plus different tools. And of course, there is one guided capstone also, which is an end-to-end CFO presentation, which happens somewhere in month number 5. So all of these are the popular tools that we just spoke about, which are also covered in the CGFPA program. Truly, this is for you to get ready for a futuristic FP&A role. So that is what we have done with the CGFPA program. Now, what is the eligibility criteria? You need to have a minimum of bachelor's degree or a global equivalent in finance, accounting, or business. Alternatively, you may have any of the professional qualifications like CA, CMA, CPA, or any respective accounting qualification of your country. That will make you eligible for the CGFPA program. We are accredited and recognized by CPD UK. How do you get the CGFPA award? There are 3 conditions. One is that the core modules that we mentioned, you need to attend at least 50% of the classes live. The classes happen on Saturdays and Sundays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. IST. The current cohort is from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. IST. Saturday is the core modules, which are compulsory. Sunday is the optional tools module, which we'll talk about in a while. You need to attend at least 50% of the classes live. That is the Saturday classes. Then somewhere in month number 5, you will be submitting a capstone assignment. In all the guidance around the capstone will be given to you. And then you're eligible for the final examination. In month number 6, at the end of the program, you will be attempting a final examination, which will be a 2 hours live multiple choice questions type proctored examination, and you need to pass with at least minimum 50% passing marks. Once you do that, you are getting the CGFPA certificate from FP&A Professionals Institute. The ROI for a program like this, I leave it to your imagination. The course fee investment in this program is USD 1795. That's you also have an option to pay it over 5 months. This covers all the exam fee and all the tuition fee and everything that is included in this. It's a 6-month program. Weekly, about 3 to 4 hours of your commitment, sometimes about 4.5 hours of your commitment is required to complete the program for 6 months. This is again designed for busy working professionals. We understand that you all are busy. That's why we are making sure that the classroom time is utilized for practical case studies and discussions. So sometimes we may ask you to go through a little bit of a pre-reading material, spend half an hour to go through a case study, and then come to the classroom prepared for it. So Saturday 2 hours is the Saturday 2 hours is the core modules, and Sunday 2 hours is the tool track. The date that you see on the screen is the orientation date. The current cohort, which is cohort 8, we just kicked off yesterday. The first session got completed yesterday. We still have a couple of seats left. So if you are interested in joining the current cohort, please make sure that you fill in the application. The application link is shared in the chat box now. At least my recommendation to you would be that at least complete the application. There are 1 or 2 seats left. If you're interested, our academic counselors will reach out to you post the application. They will also share with you, they can also share with you the demo lectures, any ongoing offers. If you want any previous alumni phone numbers, you can reach out to them, talk to them, right? So there have been tons and tons of testimonials out there. Many of them have been able to transition into FP&A roles. Many of them have been able to implement a lot of frameworks that we have shared in their company, right? So make sure that you speak to any of our alumni, do your own due diligence, and then enroll into the program. Don't just enroll into it because we are telling you to enroll into it. Okay. FP&Ajobs.com is our latest initiatives. Make sure that you create a detailed profile on FP&Ajobs.com. This is where we are trying to bring the recruiters and FP&A talent on one platform. A lot of jobs come through our references, our CFO and FP&A networks, which we get posted on FP&Ajobs.com as well, along with sharing it in the alumni community. Yeah, just to reiterate, the current cohort has already started. We kickstarted that yesterday, 4th of April. Make sure that you fill in the application and be in the race for the current cohort. If you want to join the next cohort will start sometime end of June, first week of July. We will soon announce the date for that. But right now, the current cohort has completed only just one class. You can catch up on the recording and join the current cohort as well. There are a couple of seats left. Okay, so make sure that you reach out to our academic counselors and they'll help you with the enrollment in the current cohort.
Whom to coordinate with for corporate invoicing. So once you fill up the application form that I've shared the link, it goes to the screening process, and our academic counselor will reach out to you, and they will be the person who will be helping you with the invoice if you want to get it claimed from your organization. Okay, so that's the question I saw in the chat box. Can I use ChatGPT Plus to link Excel sheet? ChatGPT Plus, which is ChatGPT Excel add-in. So I have used it not very recently. So I used it maybe a few months ago, and it was not as effective as Claude. So anything related to Excel, I would be very, very right at this point. Maybe ChatGPT plus Excel add-in has improved in the last couple of months, which may be the case. However, what I have seen is Claude is the best at this point of time if you want to use it inside Excel. So if you're using us in it in your corporate environment, and if you don't have permission, then the Microsoft Copilot is the option. And if you have the option to use an external tool, then you can use Claude.
All the best, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. See you soon in one of our programs. All the best.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thank you for joining.